90% of the men who try out to become Navy SEALs don't fail because their bodies give out. They fail during a training program called BUD/S, Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL Training, the brutal screening process every SEAL candidate has to survive before they even get a shot at the teams. And most of them don't quit because they're injured. They quit because their mind tells them to stop while their body could still go. The few who make it through aren't stronger. They just know something the other 90% don't. By the end of this video, you'll know the exact 5-step process elite athletes and special forces operators use to build mental toughness on command, and you'll be able to start using the first one today. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think mental toughness is something you're born with. A gene. A personality type. Wrong. Mental toughness is trained the exact same way a muscle is trained, through controlled, repeated exposure to discomfort. This is called stress inoculation, and it's a real technique used in military and clinical psychology. You expose someone to small, manageable doses of stress, again and again, and their nervous system literally recalibrates what counts as dangerous. Cold showers. Fasted workouts. Uncomfortable conversations. None of these change your body much. But they change your baseline for what discomfort means. And once your baseline shifts, everything that used to feel unbearable starts to feel normal. But controlling your body is only step 1. Step 2 is controlling the story you tell yourself in real time. Elite athletes use something sports psychologists call cognitive reappraisal, and here's the wild part, it's not about staying calm. It's about relabeling the exact same physical sensation. Racing heart, sweaty palms, shaking hands, a nervous amateur calls that fear. An elite competitor calls it readiness. Same biology. Different meaning. And that one word switch changes how the brain allocates energy under pressure. Researchers have shown that athletes trained to reframe anxiety as excitement consistently outperform athletes who try to suppress it. You can't turn off the signal. But you can change what the signal means. Now here's where it gets counterintuitive. Elite athletes don't avoid failure. They manufacture it. Psychologist Angela Duckworth's research on grit found that the highest performers aren't the most naturally talented, they're the ones who've logged the most hours of deliberate practice, which by definition means logging the most hours of getting it wrong. Under the guidance of psychologist Anders Ericsson, this is called deliberate practice, training specifically at the edge of your ability, where failure is frequent and mistakes are the whole point. Most people avoid that edge because it feels bad. Elite athletes live there on purpose. Because every rep at the edge is a rep their nervous system logs as survivable. And that changes what happens the next time things go wrong. So if pushing into discomfort builds toughness, does that mean you should just grind harder, all the time, no breaks? Wait, this is the part almost everyone gets backwards. Performance psychologists Jim Loehr and Tony Schwartz studied elite athletes and found the toughest competitors weren't the ones who could sustain effort the longest. They were the ones who recovered the fastest. It's called oscillation, full intensity, then full recovery, in rhythm, like a heartbeat. Athletes who never fully recover don't get tougher. They get brittle. Real mental toughness isn't non-stop pressure. It's the ability to snap back to zero, fast, so you can hit maximum intensity again on command. And this brings us to the piece almost nobody talks about, how elite athletes actually process pain itself. Studies using functional MRI on ultra-endurance athletes have found something remarkable: their brains don't register pain less intensely. The signal is just as strong. What's different is the region of the brain that interprets it. In trained athletes, the interpretive response is calmer, the pain gets treated as information instead of a threat. Here's the truth. Toughness was never about numbing yourself to discomfort. It's about changing your relationship to the signal your body is already sending you. And that's the twist that reframes everything you just heard. We tend to picture mentally tough people as fearless, untouched, unshaken, immune. But every study, every athlete, every operator we just talked about, they all still feel the fear. The racing heart. The urge to quit. Mental toughness was never the absence of that signal. It's what you've trained yourself to do the moment it shows up. So go back to that BUD/S training we started with, 90% of candidates ringing the bell and walking away with gas still left in the tank. It was never really about their bodies. It was about an untrained relationship with discomfort, breaking before their physical limits ever did. the ones who made it through didn't feel less pain. They'd just already rehearsed this exact moment, hundreds of times, in smaller doses. So here's your first rep today. Find one small, safe dose of discomfort, a cold shower, an uncomfortable set at the gym, a hard conversation you've been avoiding, and instead of pushing through it, relabel it. Call it training. If this gave you a new way to think about pressure, subscribe to Neurovexis Studio, because next time, we're going deeper into the psychology elite performers use that nobody else is talking about.